Check, check, check. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the ESO HQ at PAX 2016, and welcome to our audience members. Today we're going to be going through our Inside One Tamriel, thank you. Not tailored in One Tamriel.
That's later.
That's later. Our Inside One Tamriel presentation. It's an encore presentation, so if you saw it yesterday, it's going to be very much the same. If you didn't, stay tuned.
We'll spice it up.
We'll spice it up for you.
So you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Mike Finnegan, Dungeon Lead.
I'm Rich Lambert, the creative director.
Philip Draven, lead systems designer.
And these guys are going to walk you through the latest update that's coming to the Elder Scrolls Online later this year.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Look at that. Happy applause. So I'm going to talk a little bit kind of about the state of the game, kind of where we're at, what we're doing kind of thing, and then we'll start to delve into the update 12 that we're working on. So first of all, the game is in a really great state right now. And the biggest reason is because of players like you. You know, back at E3, we announced that we had over 7 million players playing the game, or have played the game, and that number is continually going up. And it's for reasons, you know, we launched Japan recently, so that community is growing stronger. Every update, we see more and more returning players coming back. So, you know, you guys are evangelists, and I really, really want to take a second to thank you for that, because it makes our community that much better. In addition, next week, September 9th, we have the Gold Edition launching. This is another opportunity for new players to get into the game. And this is the base game plus all 4 major DLCs. So Imperial City, Hrothgar, Dark Brotherhood, and Thieves Guild.
He means the first 4 DLCs. Shadows of the Hist is major.
Fair enough. Shadows of the Hist is out right now, and that's the 4 dungeons. So, you know, what is One Tamriel? What is this thing we're working on that everybody's really excited about? And in my opinion, this is kind of the next big evolution of Elder Scrolls. This is where, you know, content level and player level are no longer tied. You know, we're removing a lot of those arbitrary barriers. You know, the game is telling you what zone you can go to because it's level gated. And so we're removing those. You can explore anywhere, you can go anywhere you want, you can do the stories in any order you want. And I think that's a huge thing. That's going to open up a lot of social aspects. It's also going to allow you to, you know, play with your friends or your partners. You know, if you hadn't played for a while, you can come back and you can just play with them. You don't have to worry that, you know, you're too low level or they're too high level. You know, if you're in a guild that's cross alliance, you know, you don't have to just play with them in dungeons. You can go into the Overland and play in the Overland. So it's this huge social aspect that's really going to change the way you play the game. You can group with whoever you want. You know, as part of One Tamriel, we're dropping the alliance restrictions. So you're going to see other alliances in the same zone as you. You know, alliance now is your PvP team. You know, what team do you represent in Cyrodiil? That's what alliance means now, which I think is really, really cool. So as part of this, we've had to go back and really look at what this means to the game. You know, what things change, how do they change? Holy cow, like there's tons of stuff there, right? And so every zone with this update is going to have a mix of solo and group content, very much like it does now, but we're trying to standardize that a little bit across the board. So there's story quests, there's group bosses, public dungeons, dark anchors, you know, things like that. You know, it's if you've played the Orsinium DLC, or actually any of the newer DLCs, that's kind of the process, the thought process we had was to make sure that there's something there for everybody. And I think it's really important that people understand that. As part of One Tamriel as well, we went back and we looked at Craglorn. You know, I've made it no secret that I wanted to kind of revisit Craglorn. You know, when we originally launched it, it was geared more towards the hardcore, the 4-person groups. We had a lot of hard-gated 4-person content in there. And so we've redesigned the zone. And we've gone back and we've taken a look at the main story or the critical path storyline through the zone, and that's now soloable. So you can experience the storyline. In addition, we've gone through and looked at and removed a lot of those hard-gated puzzles. So you can do those by yourself. You know, no longer do you have to have 4 people all press the button at the same time in order to get past the door. You can just push the, go through, do the puzzle, and then go in and experience it. The group content in the zone, there's 4-player group content, but most of the group stuff is tuned more towards duos. So you and a partner can go in and you can play through it. So, Ronnie Zah, Shada's Tears, those really hardcore spaces that were there before, they're a little bit easier for the solo player. And if you want to Iron Man it and do it by yourself, you can try, right? It's there. The opportunity is there. So the goal now with this zone is you can go to Craglorn as a solo player and experience the storyline. And when you need a partner or you need somebody, you can find somebody else that's already there doing the content. You no longer have to have a preformed group in order to do the content in the zone. Yeah, I timed that pretty good. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like I've done this before. So I'm actually going to hand it off to Mike now, and he's going to talk a little bit about dungeons and kind of the changes that we've had to do with One Tamriel.
So I'm Mike Finnegan, Dungeon Lead.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I do. So what we wanted to do with dungeons here was kind of keep going with the theme of One Tamriel, being able to play anywhere and do anything. So the immediate thing we wanted to do was take a look at the dungeons that don't necessarily have veteran modes right now and create veteran modes. And in order to do that, what we wanted to do first was separate story from difficulty. If you've played Fungal Grotto or Elden Hollow or something like that, and you knew that going into the normal was different than going into the veteran. So what we did, first of all, was separate that. So now there's a Fungal Grotto 1, Fungal Grotto 2. They both have normal and veteran modes so that you can go through and do that. Because we created more veteran dungeons, that means we needed new monster mass. So now we have 16 new monster mass sets that are available in the new veteran versions of the dungeons. We also, when we took a look at this was a chance for us to kind of refine the pledge system. We had a pledge system in there, and it wasn't all great things to all players. Some of the dungeons, some of the dungeons can be a little bit more difficult than other dungeons. In particular, Vet, White Gold Tower, Imperial City Prison, or the 2 new ones comes up. Some people are like, nope. So what we want to do is we separated out some of those. So now we have 3 pledge givers where we used to have 2. You still have Madge, you still have Galarian, and we have a new one called Ugalarg. And Ugalarg will give out the quests for the DLC dungeon. So now you can do 3 pledges in a day. We also streamlined because we realized that doing silver pledges wasn't exactly always a rewarding experience for players. So we took a look at that and we did away with bronze, silver, and gold chests. So now you only get 1 key, and it's called an Undaunted key, and it's a 100% chance to get a shoulder out of one of the chests. So you know that if you do a pledge and you get a key, you're guaranteed to get a shoulder item for one of those. So for the pledges, you could do, another thing is you could do a pledge in, much like the DLC ones, the pledges we did, you could do a pledge in normal, you could do a pledge in veteran, or you could do it in veteran hard mode. If you do the pledge in normal, you get a key, an Undaunted key. If you do the pledge in veteran, you also get an Undaunted key, but that's the only way you can get a monster mask. Veteran monster masks now only drop in veteran, period. And then if you do it in veteran hard mode, you get 2 keys. So that's the potential, if you have the DLCs and stuff, that's potential to get 6 keys in a day. So that's 6 bites of the apple, it's 6 shoulders that you can possibly get a day. So that was pretty much what we took a look at and that's the brief synopsis of what we did with dungeons, but it was a ton of work. And now I think Phil is going to talk a little bit more about itemization.
Yes.
Phil things.
So I'm Philip Draven, lead systems designer, and the itemization carries beyond just the dungeons and masks and shoulders. We really needed to look at how itemization was being handled across all of the entire game. So with One Tamriel, we have a standardized approach. The item sets are no longer banded within specific level ranges or kind of scattered throughout a bunch of different locations. They're all now tied to specific zones or specific dungeons, specific trials, which allows players to go and specifically look for them.
It's very specific.
Yes, very specific.
Sorry, you're really not helping.
Well, it's important because before you would wander around.
It was unspecified before.
It was
Now it's
unspecified.
specific.
It was loosely specified. Anyway, so A couple other changes. All the drops are now scaling to your level, no matter what level you are, all the way up to max level. So you don't have any weird gaps in the item sets or anything like that. We also went through and looked at all of the quest rewards, which were on the lackluster side.
You can say they suck.
They did.
Okay.
And so now they're significantly better in most cases. Whenever you're completing a major objective or story that completes a zone, you'll be getting higher quality items, and you'll be getting item set items from your quest rewards that also tie back into that zone specific itemization. And then, as we kind of mentioned earlier, the veteran mode dungeons are going to guarantee your monster masks, and you can do a number of extra pledges. So this all kind of ties together in terms of how the itemization is equally distributed. And in order to achieve this, we needed to the combat team needed to look at how the item sets were distributed throughout the game world, because they weren't evenly distributed. And when they came up with the plan of having 3 item sets per source, we realized we didn't have enough item sets. Nope. So what did we decide to do? They decided to make 30 new item sets, which is pretty remarkable.
Plus the 16 monster masks. So
Yep.
there's
Tacked onto the
46 new item sets with One Tamriel.
Yep.
Right, and
pretty crazy.
Absolutely, and most of the item sets are now expanded out to have jewelry and equipment. So you can,
Almost all of them. I think the only 3 that don't
The
are
willpower,
the willpower, agility, and endurance ones.
Yeah, so
I think everything else has
the vast majority,
jewelry.
including the new ones, now have jewelry included, and so you can create those 5-piece sets in a number of different ways, mix and match them with your crafted ones or from other zones, and you're sort of covered. So you'll now have a pretty good idea of where to go to get any of these item sets. It'll be pretty clear.
Yeah, and the philosophy overall is instead of just hoping you get the drop, the goal now is you're chasing that perfect trait and the perfect weight or the perfect weapon type, right?
Yeah.
And that's really key. We want to make sure that when you're doing the content, you're always getting rewarded. And now, like I said, you're just chasing for that, Divine's medium piece now, right? Or, that sharpened weapon kind of thing.
And if you know what set you want, you go to a specific zone, and
Yep.
if you kill things long enough, you'll get that set.
Yep.
Yep.
But wait,
There
there's more.
is more, and so
What?
we've been looking into trying
I
to
need to
make
work on my surprise face. There is?
the world more dynamic. We want to have more events. We want to have things that are limited in time. And so, in addition to things in the past we've done, like the anniversary event and the recent Imperial City Double Telvar Week, which is happening right now, we're looking to do even more focused content events. So, Witches Festival is coming up in October. We're going to have special recipes that you can only get during that time period.
Pumpkin spice.
That are themed. I don't know that we're doing pumpkin spice. But they will be, Witches Festival themed recipes. There'll be special motifs that you can only get during that time period. A certain number of collectibles, quests that are only available during that time period. And then we're going to roll that forward and then look at doing a New Life Festival towards the end of the year, which has a similar
Peppermint
notion.
spice.
You and your spices.
Sorry.
And so the New Life Festival will have a number of quests that are turned on for the course of the event. You'll be able to get, again, unique recipes and rewards, collectibles, things like that. And then, of course, we're going to be looking at how the Witches Festival is received, what kind of feedback players have, and then we'll incorporate that moving forward and in developing new events.
Yeah, I think it's important to note too that these events are more geared towards the role-playing community. So a lot of the rewards that you're getting there are not necessarily crazy items. They're more kind of fun, flavory type.
Yeah, it's less.
It's very much a
about
cosmetic thing.
increasing
that
player
you-
power.
Yeah,
There's no hard mode of the Witches Festival.
Save those for dungeons.
Yeah, we'll save those for dungeons. But there are a lot of fun things that you can do that you can't normally do. And I think I'm going to have to get back to Rich.
Back to me. Okay. So
What are you going to talk about, Rich?
something that everybody's kind of talked about on the forums and and on Reddit and things like that, and that's crown crates. Why crown crates? What are these? There's been a lot of I don't want to say knee-jerk reactions, but a lot of people are really nervous about what they are, and so I just wanted to kind of talk about those and explain those a little bit. Excuse me. And talk a little bit about why we're going the route we're going. And so I think the big thing that everybody needs to understand is the crown crates are opt-in, right? And I'll explain it a little bit more, but you don't have to participate in the system if you don't want to. It's a Crown Store only feature, and it follows the same philosophy as all of our other Crown Store things, which is do no harm. You know, you're never going to get player power out of these things. It's convenience and cosmetic only. There's potions that you can get, there's XP scrolls you can get, but it's all cosmetic stuff. So right then and there, you know, it's you know, we're not selling player power with these things. And this was a way for us to allow us to reintroduce some of the things that we've taken off the store in a way that wasn't going to just trivialize kind of what we have done and what we've offered in the past. And so, you know, how do they work? And like I said, this is purely a Crown Store only feature. They never drop in the world. You never get a chest off a monster that you can't open. You only buy them in the Crown Store. And when you open them, they always contain something useful, some adventuring supplies that, you know, are going to be useful and you can use right away. In addition, there's usually going to be some kind of cosmetic thing, an adornment, a tattoo, things like that. And then you have a chance at getting either a limited time offer mount that's no longer in the store, like the Ice Mare or the Frost Mare. And then the Vermothracat. And then in addition, there's some really exclusive mounts that are only found in, and exclusive costumes that are only found in these crown crates.
Never before seen. They're super cool.
There's some cool stuff, and they've been data mined.
Yes.
Just saying, if you want to look at them, you can look at them on the PTS.
That's true. But they are super cool.
That are really, really cool. And so as part of the system, you know, we want you to be able to work towards these things. Like if you don't get that lucky roll and you don't get the item you want out of there, if you get a duplicate, that's going to get turned into a crown gem, which is another kind of currency. And there's going to be a special space in the store that you can go that has everything that's in the crown crates, and you can purchase those things individually with the crown gems. So, you know, you can participate in this system. You could get really lucky and get the item you want really quickly, or you could always work towards it. So it's this. I think it's this really cool system that works really well. And like I said, it's an opt-in thing.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
There's more. So we've talked about a little bit of this stuff this week, and we had a panel a little bit earlier today. But there's some other big things that are coming with One Tamriel that aren't necessarily tied to One Tamriel. One of those is weapon ultimates. And weapon ultimates, we've added those in. They're part of the weapon skill lines. And they work a little bit differently than other ultimates in that you have to master the skill line in order to unlock them. And once you've done that, you can slot it in your ultimate bar, and you can use them as long as you've equipped those weapons. So it's a way for you know, master players to kind of get in and mess around with their builds a little bit and play with their skill lines a little bit.
And they have their own morphs and everything.
They
so you
do.
can customize
Yep.
exactly how you want to use them.
So we've already seen on PTS, people are playing with these and giving us feedback on these things. So it's really cool. And then the other big one is dueling. You know, this is something that everybody got really excited about when we announced.
Hammer Death was lit over there.
It was pretty crazy. In an earlier panel, we showed off how dueling worked.
Rich died.
A few times.
I died.
Couple
I won a
times,
few
couple
times too.
You
I
did.
kicked his ass.
Yeah, I
You
died
did.
a
You
lot.
did.
Excuse me. But yeah, dueling is you know, a feature that allows you to duel somebody else outside of PvP. So if you're not a PvPer, but you want to kind of learn, but you don't feel comfortable in going into Cyrodiil, you can duel other players, and you can play with your build and your gear setup and your abilities, and kind of learn at your own pace, so that when you go to Cyrodiil, you can.
You don't get wrecked.
You'll probably still get wrecked in cases.
That
but,
might be true. Yeah.
You'll have a little bit of confidence in yourself, and so that was the whole point behind dueling, is to, you know, get this feature into the game so that more people could do it and experiment with PvP.
Right.
And you can set auto decline if you're not interested in participating, so you won't get spammed
Yep,
constantly.
you won't get spammed with it. So we'll have that was kind of a really quick, fast overview of all of the things that are going in. We have another panel
Tomorrow, I think.
I think, where we'll start to go into the really nitty-gritty details of what is it going to be like when you log in day one of One Tamriel. What can you expect? But, you know, for now, you know, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you know, ask away. Let's open up the floor.
No questions, huh? I'm just kidding.
Look at all the
Yeah,
hands.
So, is there a denominator?
She's got a mic so that they can hear you.
You go first.
Hey, so is there going to be any limitations on where you can duel Or are people going to be able to just like
Yes.
get on
Yeah.
the queen and
No,
duel
so-
right there?
So, I'm sorry. So you won't be able to duel in dungeons or trials or PvP areas. So Cyrodiil. Otherwise, you can. There's certain things you have to like. Stuff isn't immune when you're dueling. So if you duel next to a monster in the world, you're gonna hit it, and then it's gonna come after you. So it's one of those things that like if justice system is flagged for PvP and stuff like that, you're gonna if you duel in that kind of area, then you run the risk of hitting guards and all kinds
There's
of
also
stuff.
some minor limitations in terms of how many duels can be happening within a given area, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get completely
We,
overwhelming.
But we didn't hit that in Hammer
No, we didn't, and it was
As a
still
note
pretty
for that,
crazy.
there's a section in near Wayrest that it's called Hammer Death Arena, and we opened that up. And actually on PTS, if you see a ton of people have gone there, there's 3 separate arenas and stuff like that, and people have. It's kind of been like some weird pseudo de facto like arena dueling area because there's no NPCs in there, so you can go in there and you can challenge people and all this other stuff. So
Yeah, it's a
I know
blast.
Wheeler had a panel earlier on dueling and stuff where we kind of highlighted all that stuff, and then so I think he's gonna have another one tomorrow with that too. So definitely check that out tomorrow for sure.
I just actually had 2 questions. The Crown Crate, is there a denomination amount it's going to cost to get that?
Did we announce that? I don't know.
I don't think we have announced.
I don't know that we
There
Did we?
is. I mean, but I don't know what it is.
We have a range in our article.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, and then as well, I like to get mounts
Yeah.
out of the game. Are you guys going to place them to where they drop out of like dungeons and stuff instead of you having to pay if you want another one?
Not right now.
Because that's like a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's mounts in game that you can buy with gold,
Yeah, but I'm like,
but not all of
awesome
them.
ones.
So, yeah.
You know, that's rare. You know, you show off. Sort
Right.
of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's something that we definitely look at. So when we're developing dungeons and stuff like that, those reward mechanisms are stuff that we definitely look at and take a look at what we're going to do for that. A lot of times right now it's a skin, sometimes it's title and stuff like that. Mounts isn't completely off the table, but it's one of those things that we have to really think hard about.
Yeah, and it falls pretty firmly into that cosmetic and convenience category, and so
Yeah.
it's a good fit for the craftsman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you reminded me by when you said the dueling and testing builds and damage. Are there target dummies in the game that people could like the stagnant
Target
enemy that-
dummies, not yet.
Blood
Okay.
spawn.
Okay.
That's a joke. I mean, that's where everybody tests their DBS. is on
Yeah, not
Blood Spawn.
yet.
So, no, there are no target dummies right now.
But I didn't say never.
Any other questions from our audience, or can we take some questions from chats?
This is a question from Twitch chat. They were asking if there's going to be a way to open up, a way to replay the quest lines.
Open up the
Replay
ones
the
that they've
quest
already
lines.
completed.
I
In
think
where?
so.
In Craglorn or just in the game in general?
I guess just in the game in general.
No, but I know with Craglorn, the way
Yes.
when we went through and had to kind of rescript some of the things, we basically not reset people's progress, but they can do all the quests again in the zone.
Yeah.
If they've already done them once.
So Craglorn is pretty much the only one that's
Yep.
like that. Yeah.
Would you ever consider a system to convert crowns directly into gems?
Ooh.
Crowns directly into gems.
Oh.
No, not right now.
And what about weapon dying?
Weapon dying. Yeah, we've got that feedback a lot. You know, that is one of the things that's on our list.
You don't like red weapons?
You know, we have a really big list, though. But yeah, that one's definitely on there, and this guy pokes at it all the
I
time.
bring it up periodically.
Yeah.
I'll ask this one, Jess. We'll head over to you in a second.
I think it's for so that everybody
Twitch
can hear
can
you.
hear it
Everybody
too,
can
yeah.
hear you. Yeah.
Are there any plans for fishing in the future? That's from My Name is Ilias.
Fishing, as in redesigning the system.
I mean, it's already
Overall,
in
it
Any
is?
plans? Any
I mean,
plans?
it's something that Phil and I have talked a lot about. You know, I would love to, plus it up some. I don't know that we have an ETA on it yet, but
No, we've been sort of compiling a bunch of feedback and ideas and brainstorming. There's a number of things that we want to do to make fishing more compelling and more fun for the people that participate in it.
So I play on a PS4, but I have friends that play on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think there would be a chance that you could make it like cross console or something like that?
so I've answered that question a lot, especially after that last. It was a couple of months ago
Yeah.
when Microsoft announced their thing. And right now, that's more of a business decision. You know, we work with our partners. They're happy with kind of who plays on their platform and how they play with their platform. I don't want to say never, but right now they're pretty happy with that, and so we have to respect that and work with them on that.
Yeah. That's one of those things that's not entirely in our hands. There's a lot of back and forth with
I answered that question probably about 100 times at work.
Yeah.
You know, when that announcement went, oh, we can do this now. Whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited about the possibilities.
This is a question for Phil. What is that?
He's right here, Gina.
He's right here. Phil's right here.
I know he's right there. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
all right.
Do top tier Ritz and Craglorn still drop at CP 140 or will they be 160? As far as the
top-tier
mass
Ritz.
required.
Do they drop in 140? Or
Well, it says still top.
so you'll
Right.
basically be asked to make top tier equipment, and then you'll get top tier material from it. If that answers that question.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only going based
Yeah.
on what's here.
Yep.
Sorry.
That was an adjustment for a while there when the top tier material was hard to get and was particularly rare. We were sending people to get mostly the previous tier material, but both the survey reports and the RITs themselves have been updated.
Hand over there.
So, has there been any progress on spell crafting, or is it kind of off the table for now?
Every time.
Spell crafting, yeah, that one gets asked a lot too. You know, we haven't been working on it for a while. You know, it's not dropped, it's on our list. I think people would kind of lose their minds if they got to see my whiteboard in my office with kind of the plans that I have.
I lose my mind when I see that.
You know, my timeline goes all the way out past 2018. So there's lots of stuff in the works. But yeah, spellcrafting is one of those, but not anytime soon.
Regarding the question about Crown Crate pricing, in our, what article is this? In the Gamescom 2016 recap article on the Elder Scrolls Online website, we did say that the crates are 400 crowns.
Okay, well, there you go. I should read that. Apologize.
400 crowns. Got it.
I got it.
This is from Brady, X36. Do the Telvar sets now also have jewelry and weapons?
So I'm pretty sure every set except for the Dungeon 3-piece set now has pieces in all slots.
Yeah, I believe so. And it kind of depends on the sourcing available, can have some impact there, but that's the intention.
So go nuts, mix and match.
Well, I used to do the monthly subscription, but then I had to stop it temporarily. So I dropped. So of course I can't get access to the DLC now that I don't have it. So when you're mentioning the gold, do you have a price point on what that's going to be? Because would it be better for me to purchase that to get all the DLC?
There's another part of the gold is there's a separate pack called something.
Guilds and Glory, I
Guilds and
think.
Glory, which is if you already own the base game, it's just the 4 DLCs.
And that's in the Crown Story.
And that'll be in the Crown
I
Story.
don't, off the top of my head, I
That'll be in
don't
the
know
Crown
what the
Story
price
too.
is.
So you don't
I'm
have to buy
checking.
the base
Just
game
checking.
plus those 4. You could just buy the Guilds and Glory DLC, which just has those 4 DLCs.
Yep.
There's
So-
other big benefits to having ESO Plus though, like the craft bag is pretty.
Yeah. It's
glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one question here about gold jewelry and dungeon drop sets, for example, Scathing Mage.
Yeah.
I
I think
There's
there's
a
a
that's all I
question
saw.
for.
Oh.
It's basically asking if you can get gold jewelry in all of the different sets, and that's not necessarily the case.
Veteran in hard modes, yes.
Well, in trials.
Trials.
Right,
yes.
but non-trials. A lot of the quality is depending on the sourcing, in terms of whether it's a veteran mode or normal mode, things like that. There is not necessarily going to be gold jewelry for all item sets due to that.
Correct. There is not going to be gold jewelry for all them sets. I think it's limited to Dungeons and Trials. I think it's hard mode.
I think it's trials.
We listed specifically in the patch notes. It says the Natch Popes.
The Natch Pope.
They say where it comes from.
Any other questions from our live audience?
We're getting off easy. These are easy questions.
There you go.
A comment or a question?
Oh.
Comment.
So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate that the game includes a lot of same-sex relationships.
Okay.
I think that's really awesome of you guys and very inclusive. I don't remember if that was part of Skyrim or not. Played it a lot. But yeah, it really stuck out in ESO as being something more inclusive for everybody. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Of course.
that's definitely something that the writers and the designers consciously think about. So,
Oh, I see one over here.
another question over here somewhere.
Yep.
All right, so I'm a brand new player. I just started playing 2 months ago.
Okay.
Welcome.
Awesome. Welcome.
I already subscribed, so I can't live without that crafting bag.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
Me neither.
But I guess I just want to ask the experts, is there something that, as a brand new player, something that I should do at
Dungeons.
a little level? Okay, I love
many as
dungeons.
possible.
I absolutely
Bias.
love dungeons. I love dungeons. My heels just don't never target the tank, and it's driving me crazy. But like, what's one thing that you would make a recommendation? Something I should be doing like every day? Like, I know I've been doing my daily dungeon, but
Sure.
what's something that I should do as I level up that
I mean,
new
from
players?
my
would be
point of
looking
view
to?
is don't rush it.
Okay.
Right? Just play it, enjoy it, learn it. You know, the game is really complex, and there's a lot of in-depth things to it. And you know, if you rush to the end, you're going to kind of miss some of those things. So that would be my biggest thing: is just play the game. You know, and enjoy the journey. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing that you know differentiates us from other games.
And we get that a lot at conventions and stuff like that, where people will come up and most of the people, it's not about like, oh, I got to the end game and I was able to, most of them was like, I remember this memorable character and I remember them talking to us and stuff like that. I remember doing this quest line and then Stibbins and then all this other, you know what I mean? Like people, these are, we have built some fairly memorable characters. And so you want to experience all that stuff. And now, even with One Tamriel, you're going to be able to go, even if you started DC or EP or AD, you can go to the other factions and kind of play those up as well,
Yeah,
too.
I can't
so.
tell you how excited I am. I just learned about it just today, so I'm
Cool.
so stoked.
Yeah.
'Cause my
Yeah.
friend is 111, so I'm level 29.
Yeah.
You can play with
But now
that
you'll be able to
person
play with them,
I
exactly.
won't be stuck in Grotwood.
Yeah, exactly,
so.
exactly.
And I'd also go a little further there and say it kind of depends on what you're enjoying the most, because there's enough content there for a number of different play styles and preferences.
That's true.
That, you know, if you're super into PvP, that's going to be different, you know, advice than if you're just, I just want to craft all day.
Crafting and dungeons.
So-
Okay, well,
I'm
there
gonna
you
be
go.
doing all
That's
the
what,
dungeons.
that's
These
what
guys like you
I
all.
know, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It sounds
I
great,
like
Phil.
it too.
Yeah.
I would say the one tip that I can throw out there was the, you know, writing lessons each
Yes,
day.
Every
I'm
day.
Make
doing
sure you
that.
throw
Yeah, I was
that
taught that
because
one.
that'll add up over
And then
time
I've been
a
trying
lot.
to do my daily crafting writ.
There's
but
lots of
it doesn't-
inspiration. It'll
yeah.
level you up quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Come on. Seriously, leave me hanging.
That is Matt Weathers, everybody. He's one of our concept artists. He's drawing cool stuff. Ooh, you almost hit him.
Almost got him.
Who was that?
Might have been me.
Well, I'm tracing, but I'm tracing something I made.
So you're a tracer. Any other questions?
Do we have some from chat?
Gina's furiously looking at chat.
Future stuff?
Awesome.
Future stuff.
Okay.
Shall we wrap
All
it
right.
up?
Yeah.
We're good?
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, both
Yeah.
on Twitch and here live. We'll be here if you have any questions. And of course, this is on PTS now. So
Yep.
try it out. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
No, we
They
won't.
killed you already. You guys aren't.